A Democrat with us as well. Scott Stringer joins us, longtime politician here in New York. He's been the city comptroller and I believe he's getting ready to run for mayor against Eric Adams again. Welcome to you. Your reaction, first of all, before we talk about any New York City politics, to this case today, which had, as I said to Joanne, had divided many people here in this city. What do you make of the not guilty verdict?
Well, look, the jury issued its verdict, but let's be clear, there are no winners here. Everybody loses in this situation. The fact is that a life was taken. I agree with the council member that it didn't have to be. We have to start investing for real in aligning policing with mental health services. If we don't, more lives will be lost. We have an exploding homeless population. Many people are living on our subways. They're existing on our subways. And quite frankly, they're being left to die on the subways. So obviously, we want to make sure that we have a police presence so that we have the kind of people that will help us in these difficult times when maybe a crime or an episodic event is occurring. But it can't just be the cops. It has to also be mental health professionals. They also have to be on the trains. And unfortunately, our mayor talks a lot but doesn't do a lot, and he has not aligned policing and mental health services, and that's a tragedy that we have to fix. And I'm glad that both Republicans and Democrats recognize that challenge, because that's a big step in getting the funding that we need to help our mental health citizens.
Now, in terms of the facts of this particular case, this guy was charged with causing the death of another person on the subway. Did you see it in your own estimation and looking at it and reading about it as a clear-cut case, or you recognized the complexities of it, as the jury seemed to struggle with it last week?
No, it seemed to me as a very complex case. I think the jury, asked questions and struggled with a lot of this. But look, when a verdict is handed down, the people have spoken. And now the question is, what's the role of government to make sure that these tragedies don't happen on our subway trains? These tragedies don't happen on our platforms. And we are building homeless shelters at a record rate, but we're also not building permanent affordable housing. And that's a tragedy in and of itself. We're not giving the funding and the creative services for new mental health initiatives that can prevent tragedies like this. And right. I do think this is at the doorstep of mayors, not just in New York City, but around the country.
Well, you were critical of the mayor here, fellow Democrat, who, as I said at the top, you're getting set to run against again in the race here in a Democratic city. And I say Democrat for a reason, because there's been a lot made over the last few days about the comments Mayor Adams has made about would he ever go back to being a registered Republican, which he was, I believe, like 25 plus years ago. And, he didn't rule it out and made some new comments about that today. Let's listen.
I never stated that I was not running as a Democrat. I ran as a Democrat as a senator, as a borough president, as a mayor, and I won. I'm running as a Democrat. I was on Channel 11, and they asked the same question. I said the same thing. I am true blue, but I'm also a true blue-collar mayor.
All right, so what do you make of that from your point of view in terms of his party affiliation and what's really going on here, and whether maybe it has something to do with the investigations? I don't know. What's your view on it?
Look, I think he's shopping for a potential pardon, but I also think he wants very much to run for mayor again, and I hope he comes into the Democratic primary. There's a number of candidates running, myself included, and let's air out some of these issues and talk about his record, talk about what the vision is for people who want to replace him. I hope to be in that conversation.
Do you think he's hoping Trump will pardon him? That's the bottom line here.
Look, I think he's trying, but look, he has a very serious case that he has to deal with. We believe that he's innocent until proven guilty. But my real critique of the Adams administration is they don't get anything done. They talk a lot, but they certainly don't help working people in the city. If you're going to be a blue-collar mayor, then act like a blue-collar mayor and actually create jobs and reduce crime and make sure that our quality of life is good. I have 2 kids in public school. They're both in middle school. Right. I worry about them on the subways, and I worry about their educational future in the city, and that's the job of the mayor. So, again, you could talk the talk, but maybe it's time that we start electing people who can actually walk the walk, who have real records in terms of public service, and that's what this campaign is going to be about.
Okay. Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.